They say success is the best revenge, but watching your family realize that their worthless gamer now owns their company? That's priceless. I'm David Chun, 28 years old, and this is the story of how my family's constant ridicule of my gaming addiction backfired spectacularly when I ended up acquiring their failing family business. Growing up in a traditional Asian American family, expectations were always crystal clear. Excel in school, get into a prestigious university, become a doctor or lawyer, and eventually take over the family's manufacturing business. My older brother Michael followed this path perfectly. I, on the other hand, had different interests. From the moment I first picked up a controller at age 6, I was hooked. Gaming wasn't just entertainment for me. It was a gateway to endless possibilities. While Michael was memorizing business terms and schmoozing with our father's colleagues, I was learning about game design, digital economies, and virtual world building. Playing games won't pay bills, my father would scream during our frequent arguments. Look at your brother. He's already learning the business. What will you do with your life? My mother wasn't any better. She'd confiscate my gaming equipment, signing me up for extra tutoring instead. No son of mine will become a worthless gamer, she'd declare, while proudly showing off Michael's business school acceptance letters to relatives. But they didn't understand that while they saw me wasting time gaming, I was actually building something. I wasn't just playing games. I was studying them, understanding their mechanics, and learning how to create them. By 16, I was already developing small indie games and selling them online. He's in his room playing games again, my brother would report to our parents, shaking his head disapprovingly. How will he ever run Chin Manufacturing with me? The truth was, I had no interest in running our family's traditional manufacturing business. Chin Manufacturing produced industrial parts, important work, but not exactly cutting edge. While they were stuck in the old way of doing things, I was looking toward the future. My first real break came during my senior year of high school. A game I developed, Quantum Shift, caught the attention of a small publisher. The advance wasn't much, but it was enough to convince me to major in computer science instead of business administration, as my parents demanded. Computer games? My father exploded when I told them my college plans. You want to throw away generations of family business for computer games? My mother cried for days. Michael just smirked and said, "Well, I guess I'll be running the company alone then." College was both a blessing and a curse. Away from my family's constant criticism, I could finally focus on what I loved. I took extra classes in game design and digital animation, while also studying business and marketing. I knew that to succeed in the gaming industry, I needed to understand both the creative and business sides. During my sophomore year, I founded Nova Gaming Studios with 2 classmates. We started small, developing mobile games while living on ramen noodles and coffee. Our first few games were modest successes, but we were learning and improving with each release. Meanwhile, back home, Michael had graduated and taken his position as heir apparent at Chin Manufacturing. Family dinners, when I could be bothered to attend, were exercises in humiliation. "So still playing your little games?" Michael would ask, adjusting his expensive tie. The company had another record quarter, by the way. Real business, not virtual nonsense. I stayed quiet during these dinners, letting them think what they wanted. What they didn't know was that Nova Gaming Studios was growing rapidly. Our breakthrough came with Virtual Empires, a massive multiplayer game that combined traditional strategy elements with blockchain technology and real-world economics. The game exploded in popularity. Suddenly, we weren't just a small indie studio anymore. We were a major player in the gaming industry. But I kept our success quiet, operating under the corporate name without revealing my position as CEO and majority owner. Then came the news that changed everything. Chin Manufacturing was in trouble. The company had failed to adapt to changing markets and new technologies. Their traditional customers were moving to more innovative suppliers, and their outdated manufacturing processes were becoming increasingly expensive to maintain. I heard about their troubles through industry channels before my family ever mentioned it. Michael, for all his business school education, had been too proud to modernize the company's operations. My father, set in his ways, had resisted any significant changes to their business model. The day everything came to a head, I was sitting in my office, not the small startup space we'd begun with, but the entire top floor of a downtown high-rise. Nova Gaming Studios had grown into Nova Interactive, a technology company valued at over $2 billion, with our gaming division being just one part of our digital empire. My assistant buzzed in. "Mr. Chun, your brother is here to see you." I smiled, knowing this moment would come eventually. "Send him in." Michael burst into my office, then stopped short, taking in the spectacular view and modern decor. He looked different from the last time I'd seen him, tired, stressed, his expensive suit slightly rumpled. "David," he said, confusion evident in his voice. "What are you doing here?" "I came to meet with the CEO of Nova Interactive. We're looking for investors, and I heard they might be interested." "You're looking at the CEO," I said calmly, enjoying the way his eyes widened in shock. "Welcome to my little gaming company." Michael collapsed into one of the visitor chairs. "This is impossible. You play video games." "I create video games," I corrected him. "Among other things. Nova Interactive is now one of the largest digital entertainment and technology companies in the country. But you wouldn't know that, since you were too busy mocking my career choice to actually pay attention to what I was building." But, he stammered, then seemed to remember why he was there. "We need help. Chin Manufacturing is in trouble. We're looking for investors, or possibly a buyer." I leaned back in my chair. "I know. Your company's failure to adapt to digital transformation has put you about 10 years behind your competitors. Your manufacturing processes are outdated, your supply chain is inefficient, and your market share is dropping rapidly." Michael's face reddened. "How do you know all this?" "Because unlike you, I've been paying attention to how technology is changing traditional industries. Gaming taught me that adaptability is crucial for survival." "So, will you help?" he asked, swallowing his pride. I pretended to consider it. "Have you discussed this with Dad?" He doesn't know I'm here," Michael admitted. "He still thinks we can save the company the traditional way." I smiled. "Well, as it happens, Nova Interactive has been looking to expand into manufacturing. We have some interesting ideas about integrating AI and automation into traditional manufacturing processes. We might be interested in acquiring Chin Manufacturing under the right conditions." The implications of what I was saying slowly dawned on Michael's face. His little brother, the worthless gamer, would become his boss. I need to discuss this with Dad," he said weakly. "Of course," I replied. "In fact, why don't you bring both our parents to my office tomorrow? It's time for a family meeting." The next day's meeting was everything I had imagined during those years of enduring their ridicule. My parents arrived with Michael, all three of them looking uncomfortable in my sleek, modern office. "What is this place?" my mother asked, looking around in confusion. "David, why are you here?" "Mom, Dad," I said, standing behind my desk. "Welcome to Nova Interactive, one of the largest gaming and technology companies in the country." "My company?" My father's face went through several colors before settling on a pale white. "Your company?" "Yes," I confirmed. "The company I built while you were all telling me I was wasting my life playing games. And now, ironically, I'm in a position to save our family's legacy by buying Chin Manufacturing." "Impossible," my father exploded. "You know nothing about real business. You play games." I pulled up our company's financial reports on the large screen behind me. Nova Interactive's current market value is $2.3 billion. We employ over 500 people, have offices in 3 countries, and our technology is revolutionizing not just gaming, but education, healthcare, and yes, manufacturing. My mother sat down heavily in one of the chairs. All this time, I confirmed. While you were calling me worthless and comparing me to Michael, I was building something bigger than Chin Manufacturing ever was. And now, you need my help to save the family business." Michael, to his credit, spoke up. "He's right, Dad. Nova Interactive has the resources and technology we need. Without their help, we'll be bankrupt within a year." My father looked broken, his worldview shattered. The son he'd dismissed as a failure was now his only hope for saving his life's work. "What? What are your terms? He finally asked. I laid out my proposal. Nova Interactive would acquire Chun Manufacturing, modernize its operations with our technology, and retain most of the employees, including my family, if they were willing to adapt to the new way of doing things. But understand this, I added. If you stay, you'll be working for me. No special treatment, no executive positions based on family ties. You'll have to earn your place in the company, just like everyone else. Working for you? My father repeated incredulously. My son who plays video games? Your son who built $1 billion technology company, I corrected him. Times have changed, Dad. The question is, are you willing to change with them? The acquisition process was complicated, both professionally and personally. My parents struggled to accept their new reality, where their gaming-addicted son was now their boss. Michael, surprisingly, adapted better than expected. I've been looking at some of your company's technology, he told me during the transition period. It's incredible how you've integrated gaming concepts into real-world applications. I never understood before. You never tried to understand, I reminded him. None of you did. The first few months after the acquisition were challenging. My father initially refused to accept any changes to his manufacturing processes, until I demonstrated how our AI-driven systems could improve efficiency by 300%. But this is not how we've always done it, he protested. That's exactly why you were failing, I replied. The world doesn't care how you've always done things. It cares about innovation, efficiency, and adaptation. My mother struggled in her own way, unable to reconcile her previous image of me with the successful CEO I'd become. I overheard her on the phone with relatives, trying to explain the situation. Yes, David, the one who played games, he's actually very successful now. He owns a big company. No, not just games anymore. The transformation of Chun Manufacturing was dramatic. We integrated our digital technologies into every aspect of the operation. The old assembly lines were replaced with smart manufacturing systems. Workers were retrained to operate advanced machinery and work with AI-assisted tools. Michael, to his credit, threw himself into learning the new systems. I should have listened to you years ago, he admitted one day. While I was studying traditional business models, you were inventing new ones. A year after the acquisition, Chun Manufacturing, now renamed Chun Digital Manufacturing, was profitable again. The workforce had actually grown, as we needed both traditional manufacturing expertise and technical skills. My father finally broke down and apologized one evening, after seeing the quarterly reports. I was wrong, he said simply. All those years, I thought you were wasting your life. But you saw the future while I was stuck in the past. It's not about being right or wrong, Dad, I replied. It's about being willing to learn and adapt. That's what gaming taught me. Every new game is a new challenge, a new system to master. Business isn't so different. My mother took longer to come around, but eventually, she too saw the value in what I'd built. I worried so much about you, she confessed. I thought you'd never be successful, never make us proud. I didn't understand that you were already building your success story. The story of the gamer, who saved his family's company, made waves in both the business and gaming worlds. We were featured in magazines and news stories, held up as an example of how traditional industries could be transformed by embracing new technologies. But the real transformation wasn't in the business. It was in my family's understanding of success. They finally saw that innovation doesn't always wear a suit and tie, that success doesn't always follow the traditional path, and that sometimes the kid playing video games in his room is actually building the future. 3 years after the acquisition, I stood in the renovated Chun Digital Manufacturing facility, watching our new hybrid production lines in operation. Workers moved efficiently between high-tech workstations, while AI systems optimized every aspect of production. My father stood beside me, finally proud not of what he'd built, but of what I'd built. You know, he said thoughtfully, I still don't understand these games you make, but I understand now that I didn't need to understand. I just needed to trust that you knew what you were doing. Michael, now our Chief Innovation Officer, a position he'd earned through hard work and adaptability, joined us on the floor. Remember when you used to tell me I was wasting my time with games? I asked them both. They had the grace to look embarrassed. Now look around, I continued. Every system in this facility, every piece of technology that saved our family business, was built on principles I learned from gaming. Resource management, strategy adaptation, understanding complex systems. These aren't just game mechanics, they're business fundamentals. Today, Nova Interactive continues to grow and innovate, while Chen Digital Manufacturing has become a model for traditional businesses embracing digital transformation. My family, they've learned that success can come in many forms, and that sometimes the person they labeled as worthless turns out to be the one who saves everything. As for me, I still game regularly, now in the state-of-the-art gaming lounge I had installed in our corporate headquarters. Sometimes my father even joins me for a round or two. I still don't understand how you make money from this, he'll say, fumbling with the controller. And I'll smile, remembering all those years of criticism, and reply, "That's okay, Dad. You work for the gamer now." Because sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's proving yourself right, one game at a time. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.